Welcome to MR.SNACKS, Soul Cafe. My name is Hiroshi. I'm back. I've been away for a while, visiting my daughters and grandchildren in LA for about 8-9 days, and also working and doing other projects, even while I was there. And since I've been back and helping a dear friend with their podcast production, so here I am. Had some very interesting conversations in LA with my daughters and also with their friends. So it was pretty cool. This subject came up and I decided, hey, I'm going to address it today, and we'll continue the illusions of Christianity, the Bible, religion in the near future. Conversation arose on this subject of what is really happening in our country. It was a question. What is happening in the world right now? What's really going on? Going through a lot of changes, many people are. So I will share my perspective here. I've been wanting to do a podcast on the Russian Revolution, the rise of Stalin and Lenin, and what went on in Russia during that time, addressing Hitler's Germany, not the stories you've been taught in school and by the media. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. Let me pull this book out here. Some notes. So what is happening here? We must look at a book by Karl Marx, The Communist Manifesto. Let's check it out. And he writes, and I quote, "In this sense, the theory of the communist may be summed up in the single sentence: abolition of private property." Close quote. This is their most important cornerstone, I think. In reading this many, many years ago, it just sucked me in, and I had to learn about this. It's fascinating. And even pulled it out recently, again, because of the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. In the beginning were professed Marxists. And it seemed to many uninformed young people, of course, you can't blame them, especially they weren't not aware of that. And it didn't matter at all anyway. Have you heard of the World Economic Forum? They held a very important meeting a few years ago. Stated, "Welcome to the year 2030. And my notes here. "I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better," in this statement. An article, I will continue to read it here in my notes. "Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city," or should I say our city. "I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all the things we need in our daily lives." Okay? "One by one, all these things became free, so it ended up not making any sense for us to own much." First, communication became digitized and free to everyone. Then when clean energy became free, things started to move quickly. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own cars anymore because we could call a driverless vehicle. All right? This meeting I just addressed occurred in 2016. It's 4 years ago. They had a plan at that meeting. You see, everything will be owned by the state. You will own Nothing. You get that, Hollywood celebrities? And this applies to you rich sports figures, too. Do you get it? Do the research, investigate, pick up the book, look into the World Economic Forum. You see, the thing is, most are distracted, which is part of the plan. Social media for the masses in this country. Kids are, 24/7 playing video games. Really, nonstop. And the younger generation on, TikTok and making silly videos. It's all fun. Nothing wrong with it. And of course, back and forth on Instagram and Facebook and texting each other and just into their phones. I, along with others, are sharing some important and vital information, especially now. And life is what it is, I understand. But what has become more important and has gained a ton of more views, subjects of the celebrities, J-Lo's abs, model poses, millions of views, and what celebs and sports millionaires are doing with their millions. LeBron just recently bought $1 million car, and a few months ago, $30 million, $40 million, 30-room mansion or something like that. And you read these in there, it's entertaining. And I get, 30 views? Which I am grateful, really. I don't advertise really for anything, but I'm sharing. My daughters talked me into it, a few friends, and so that's why I'm doing these podcasts. But they get millions, right? These celebrities. The sage I had spent 6 years learning from, who was from India, living in Amsterdam, Shankar, has probably about 25, 30 followers. Really, that's it. So these 25, 30 people is taken under his wing, sharing with them, and I'm just privileged and grateful for that. So, and I say this because what we're going through in this country and what is shaping up in this country is earth-shattering. And this, what I am sharing from the meeting, is not a unique idea from this World Economic Summit, but it's right out of the Communist Manifesto. Okay, the founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, had written a book titled COVID-19, The Great Reset. Maybe you've heard about the Great Reset. In this book, he explains, because of COVID, we should implement all of these communist ideas in the Great Reset happening now. It's finally here, people. He disguised this as, liberalism and high-tech society. And this has to happen here in the United States and also in the world. George Soros spoke at Davos, and he warned Trump of economic doom before he was elected, before the election. Oh yes, what is Davos? Davos is the World Economic Forum. So let's go to the Communist Manifesto, okay? So also the abolition of private property is the abolition of the family. The key is only the wealthy, the rulers, they have the family. The lower class, the poor, the family doesn't benefit you, as they say, so let's abolish it. In other words, the society becomes a prison, a slave world. Also, there was a piece that states COVID means Thanksgiving and Christmas will be a bummer. Don't make it worse by urging joy. That was in the article. Don't we see that is what's happening before our very eyes? COVID was and is the vehicle. And what was discouraged over the holidays? Think about it. Family gatherings. Leave out your grandmother, grandparents. Keep it small. See, you see the government. The politicians don't have your best interest in hearts, but they pretend they do. And people, the masses, still believe that they're going to deliver. They get in office, it's all about them and their agenda. So let's go to the book once again. Communism also abolishes what? Eternal truths. It abolishes all religion, all morality. Didn't we see the closing of churches and private-owned businesses are closing down? And of course, politicians are doing what they tell you not to do, the hypocrisy. You see, they have been plotting out communism for years. It's not a new thing. And the politicians in this country, not all have been paid off. Many have. And they reap large rewards for their part in it. You see, if the U.S. falls, the rest of the world will follow. And censorship and bans, it's all happening. And every civilization has fallen except the United States. So here's a headline for you from the Washington Post. Let me get, here it is. The pandemic pushes hundreds of millions of people towards starvation and poverty. You get that? That's the headlines. COVID is the biggest excuse of all. And the masses think the Democrats are for the people. And Republicans are also buying into this more and more too. So it's both. Okay, back to the book. Number 1, abolition of property and land, and application of all rents of land to public purposes. Don't you see that happening? Landowners and property owners are losing. The banks are the plantation owners of today, as landlords can't make their mortgages, and homeowners as well. People are losing their homes. Number 2, heavy progressive and graduated income tax. Didn't Joe Biden say he will raise the taxes? 3, abolition of all right of inheritance. The wealthy athletes and celebrities think they're setting up their families for life. Think again. Confiscation of the property of all immigrants and rebels. Number 5, centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a national bank with state capital and an exclusive monopoly. Number 6, centralization or the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. Say goodbye to Facebook, social media, people. I won't go any further, but everything will be owned, and that includes you. They're doing it now and doing it through the media because they own the media. And so far, they're succeeding. They're wanting to destroy everything that made America what it was. So I'll continue with part 2. The plot thickens as we go down the rabbit hole. Take care. Bye.